Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, their habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, CesarRespino. Hey, how are you? Welcome back. It is your friend CesarRespino, and you are at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. You can find me at www.CesarRespino.com. And today I have a special guest. His name is Piere Ingram. Hey, Pierre, how are you, man?
Good. How are you doing today, Cesar?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful, man.
Good,
Nice.
man.
Thanks for joining me. So I wanted to give the people just a quick, just a little background from you, right? So you were born in Ohio. You are a writer and you are a poet, and you're just you're an influencer now in social media, trying to get to more people through your social media.
Yes.
Why don't you give us your full background, where you came from? You said you were from Ohio, but give us more about your childhood and all that stuff.
From Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I had wonderful parents. They were married. They got divorced.
Yep.
Right. I had a great start upbringing, but when I was 5, man, I got molested when I was a kid.
Mm.
That's about the only bad thing that happened to me, but that actually was a good thing too, because it taught me how to dig in deep into the light, into what I could get out of by writing.
Right.
Instead of just always saying, "Oh, this happened to me," feeling bad about myself. I found something inside of that.
Yeah. So it's like from that pain, something positive grew, something good came out of that, right?
Yeah. And that's good.
Yeah. So besides that, any other things that growing up as a kid that maybe might be foreseen as something negative, or even maybe a lesson that now you reflect back and you're like, man, that was something good. Anything else?
A lesson that I've learned, like I've seen this in the Bible too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That I used to be like a follower, right? I used to follow the crowd, like, oh my God. I used to get in so much trouble when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Literally.
Wow.
Hanging out with gang members and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Hanging out with drug dealers and all this stuff. And what really helped me, it turned into something good, because I found out me being a follower, I actually was a leader. I just thought I was a follower.
Yeah.
I was like, I was following the whole time, but now that I realized when I got older that I was actually leading these people. Because I was dropping seeds inside of them.
Right.
Activity. Because when they start going and do things wrong, I'm like, man, I'm about to leave.
Yeah.
Y'all can do this. I'm gonna go this way.
You're like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be part of that.
Right? Yeah. And then they will wonder, like, why are you gonna come with us and then turn your back and go home?
Yeah. No, definitely.
And then eventually they will come to my house and be like, all right, man, I'm just going to come over here and play basketball. And I'm like, dang, I actually left a seed in them. They actually started thinking about this stuff.
Yeah, they started changing.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's talk about your book, your poetry and book, right?
Okay.
What inspired you to get your book, to write it? And let's talk about that project and what is your objective there?
My objective is to reach the masses, my book is basically about spirituality and self-awareness, because that's what poetry is. Basically. It's about self-awareness, because you're writing your thoughts down on paper. but you put it in poetic form. I never knew that myself. I'm like, dude, you know what this is like? Put my thoughts down on paper. It's like, and you know, self-awareness is the most important thing that you could do for yourself.
Yeah.
Because once you recognize your thoughts, then you can shift them. That's the
Yeah.
first thing.
Wow.
And the one thing that got me to write the book was I felt a lot of things in my life was going to happen. I felt it. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to start taking life seriously and do the things that I've always wanted to do. Instead of just thinking about them and say I'm going to do this and say I'm going to do that. It took a lot of action steps, baby steps. I wrote one poem at a time every day while I was at work. And then my mom died, and that pushed me into stepping up into my power even more.
Now, you said that, you said you want to do something. Like, was there something beside, like, there must have been something that triggered you, like said, enough is enough. I have to do something. I have to follow my passion. I have to find that. What was there anything specific that really pushed you to that level? Because a lot of people, you go day by day and they said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I need to do something different. Yet it's not compelling enough. It's not, that drive is not big enough to make them go over through that next, step and actually do it. So what was it for you that actually drove you to take that action and say, you know what, enough is enough. I want to do this. I want to share my poetry to other people.
You know what actually drove me into doing it? One day I said, I think I posted a video about I used to do drugs and stuff, cocaine. And one day I did cocaine one night and my heart was rushing. I felt like I was going to die. And then the next morning I started writing and I was like, you know what? I got to stop doing this stuff. I got to start doing the stuff that's truly me. And that kind of compelled me to do it. I got really scared and all the pain that was coming into my life. I felt like I was trying to duck the pain, dodge the pain, but you have to face it. The more that you resist it, the more that it persists. The more you resist, the more it persists. So I was like, I'm tired of beating myself up. Beating myself up.
Right. And a lot of times what happens, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times, you have that pain and you feel like the way out or the way to fix that is by getting into drugs or doing or getting into drinking. That's just a temporary bandage and it doesn't fix that. Right. So I guess, in this case, you're like, you know what, I'm tired of feeling really bad and temporarily feeling good and then feeling bad again and temporarily feeling good. And so you're like, I got to go back. And what can I do to change it? Is that what was going through you?
Yes. Cause I felt like it's a vicious cycle. I was like, dude, I'm feeling unfulfilled. I'm tired of going back and forth, doing the same thing over and over and keep getting slapped by God, and taking me back to the beginning again and again and again. Every time you mess up, you get sent back to the beginning. Yeah. And you got to start all over again. That's why I feel like I got to come back and do this on solid foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. And I know that and I'm assuming, that a lot of people or many people that are listening to us or watching us, they might be going through something similar and they might be looking at some of the things that maybe they can relate to your story. And so what would be something that you can give people to get out of that, those habits and then start building something more positive for them that it can help them move forward in their life? It's not easy, obviously, and I know it's challenging. Yet, I guess the question is it worth it? And then what would be something that you can tell people?
Right. I could tell you that it is worth it to do things that you always wanted to do, but those things that take over us, those negative things, are trying to stop us from doing that. Trying to stop us from being happy and being comfortable, being satisfied with ourselves. So you got to get rid of the negative stuff that's going on in your mind and replace it with positive. That's one thing that you got to do, and being self-aware of your thoughts and writing them down. Yeah. And realizing that you were put here to do great things too. And it's only the the way that you do great things is different than the way that I do great things. So, and we all reach different types of people. So your word and your in a way and your gift is should be put out here too, just as well as mine.
Right. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have to just close out all the negativity and do what you always wanted to do since you was a kid. It's that thing that you do when you were a kid that you were so good at, and you do it effortlessly.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you should do.
Right. And not only have you, so would you consider to that this was kind of like a reinventing a transformation in your life? For sure, right? And not only obviously your mom passed away, your dad passed away recently too. So you got hit twice pretty much in a very short period of time. And what is one thing that you can probably give the listeners like an advice to say, even with things getting so tough and hard, you were staying positive and trying to still move forward, right? Like I know that's difficult going through something like that, especially when you lose your mom and your dad back to back. Like, how do you stay on top of that? Like, how do you stay positive and continue to push forward?
You got to look at the bigger picture, and you got to appreciate it. You got to appreciate your moment. You got to appreciate the present moment, and still look at the big picture. Basically, you got to look at where you've been, appreciate your moments, and then look at the big picture.
Yeah. I love that, man. I think, yeah. No, I really love that, because I think that, as much as we want to, we cannot go back and fix or change or do anything about the past. We cannot really do anything about the future. We can start planning for the future, and we can start looking at what we want to do in the future. Yet that future is going to get affected by right now, this moment, this present moment, right? So I really like that. And sometimes people forget about that. They don't even think about today. They think about yesterday, and they think about tomorrow. And then really the one moment that matters is the second, the one that you're living in right now, right? So that's I love that. So that definitely can help you, look at things in a different aspect, right? In a different perspective.
Yes, in the past, it's just for you to go back and look at what you did wrong, because these situations come up again, and you're like, "Oh, I did that before. I'm about to do this time." right? That's the only. That's the only reason why we go in the past.
And it's a learning lesson. That's what it is.
Learning lessons.
You have to be able to. So in something like that, I know we as people tend to go back to the past and look for a validation and look at how did I react to that back then? What was I doing? Yet you have to realize that one, you shouldn't be going back to the past to get a validation, specifically if it's something bad. It's just a lesson, learn from that lesson, move forward, become better from that as you continue to react on the present moment. So, and so now with your poetry, I know you're doing a lot of live videos and you're trying to get your word out and just you're really sharing that with people. Is there another book coming up anytime soon?
Oh yeah, it's called "I Bleed Through This Ink."
Nice.
And the next one is going to be called "Everyone Loses Sometimes."
Okay. So what inspired those two books and those titles?
Oh man, because because there's love. All the pain I've been through, I realized that there's love inside the pain. Yeah, you got to really, really dig deep inside you, because everything's an inner job.
Right. I really like that, man. I really like the way you put it. In every pain, there's deep down love, and you have to dig into it and get it. And again, I've been talking to so many different people. I've been interviewing so many different people, and one thing that I keep finding is that they didn't give up. They didn't, give in to the situation. They didn't allow the circumstance, the environment, the situation overtake the opportunity. And that's what's critical here. That even with something that was really bad and drastic, they were able to come out of that and create something from that pain, which is exactly what you did too. There was an opportunity there, and you got to make sure that you dig in and find that. And that's something that I keep finding. And so, I always, maybe one of the messages that I want to be able to leave with the viewers and the listeners is that don't let the fear of something that looks uncomfortable. Don't let that negative aspect that you may be going through take away the opportunity that is going to be coming your way. Because there's a lot of that in,
Right.
if you embrace it, right?
Yeah. And fear is just false evidence appearing real anyways. It's just false.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
false. It's
Yeah.
trying to stop you from gaining your reward.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so another thing that I know about you, and I want to maybe get an understanding of how critical that is to you and what would be your best advice to people, is that you are very close to God. You're definitely
Yeah.
a son of God. So how is that critical to you in your life? And, what would be your advice to people in terms of that, of that connection with God?
It's critical because I feel like that's my solid foundation. I don't want to get to a certain spot in my life and got to start all over because I realized that I didn't build solid foundation. I built my house on sand. So when the wind comes through, it's going to blow my house down. I want to make sure I build my house on solid foundation. That's the only way I could help other people when they're homeless or they're trying to look for a mentor or something. They could come in my house and they're safe in my house because when the wind go by, it's going to be steady. It's
Right.
going to be built on solid ground. And I want anyone that I help get closer to God, I want them to know that they're safe on solid ground.
Got it. No, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. So, if you had one advice to give to the viewers, what would be one thing that you can give them or tell them they can do today to overcome any obstacles in their lives?
Don't think that you can't do anything that you set your mind to. And don't let your thoughts talk you out of stuff. Sometimes you got to do it without thinking. Sometimes just do it. Because that's what true leaders do. Just do it.
Yeah.
Because you could talk yourself out of stuff. Don't let your self-talk talk you out of your dreams and your future.
Right. You know what? And with that in mind, like, how do you deal with that? I mean, because I know we always have those little voices telling you,
"Oh,
don't do
wow.
this, don't do it." Like, how do you deal with that, man?
It's the human condition.
Okay.
That's the human condition. Yeah. And one of my mentors says, don't let yourself, don't beat yourself up about beating yourself up. One, he says that because your brain does that to you. Don't do it to yourself on top of what your mind already doing to you.
Yeah.
And you can't help it. We got a lot of negative thoughts, but wherever your mind goes, your energy flows. So you have a choice. You just got to pay attention to your thoughts. Write them down in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. And then you start realizing where your thoughts are going, and you can shift them.
Yeah, definitely. What you focus on will expand. I mean, it comes down to that. And so even with those voices, those thoughts that you might be having that might not be serving you any purpose, you want to be able to just kind of like, as soon as you can, acknowledge them, disregard them, and then focus on something more positive, because again, it will expand. That's really what you want to be able to focus on, is the outcome you're looking for. And like the fact that you write down your thoughts and just kind of go back and review that and see where your energy is going. And then if that's not where you want it to go, then start thinking about how to shift your thoughts,
Right.
Are there any things you do on a day-to-day basis that help you stay in a positive mindset?
That's one of them. Reading the Bible, and
Okay.
I mean, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do think negative, but what I do on a daily basis is just give myself self-love. Look in the mirror, do my mirror. You gotta do some mirror exercises and just hug yourself and tell you how good you're doing than what you used to be, how far you came. Because sometimes we forget how far we came, and we gotta celebrate that.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. Definitely self-love, and definitely make sure that you're just, like you said, you're just embracing each moment. And if nobody's telling you that you're loved, make sure you tell yourself you are, for sure.
Right.
Right?
And no one gonna. You got to do it for yourself first before. It's just like if you want people to listen to you, you got to listen to others. You got to
Yeah.
listen to yourself, and you got to listen to other people.
Yeah.
Or like they won't listen to me, but I never listen to them. You know?
Yeah. It's crazy because I know a lot of times we as human people, we tend to really wait for somebody to give us that love or,
Right.
those compliments when really in reality we should be doing that to ourselves.
Self,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So no, that's cool, man. Hey, yeah. So where can people find you if they want to, connect with you?
Facebook, Piere
Okay.
Ingram. Piere Ingram on Facebook.com.
Awesome.
And you can find me on YouTube too.
Okay. Cool.
It's New Life Poetry, Innovate and Change Around the World.
Nice.
And my New Life book is on Amazon.com.
And that's the name of the book, New Life Poetry?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'm actually gonna have all this information for all the listeners and the viewers, so they can find you, connect with you, and just kind of go from there. So, Pierre, anything else that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah. Just always pay attention to your thoughts and don't disregard them. You gotta face the bad things because you can't just throw them off sometimes. Because if we throw them off, then we can't use it to help us. We got to use those hard times to help us, push us. Either you can you can let it keep you down, or you can use it to push you. That's a choice that we have too. We can say, you know what? All these things happen to me. I can't do nothing. I'm gonna stay right here on this couch. Or you can use it to say, you know what? All these things happen to me. I might as well keep moving forward because I'm still going through the pain anyway.
I love that. Yeah. Stop being the victim. Start taking action.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Pierre, I really had a good time talking to you, man. Thank you so much for sharing and coming out here, man. Yeah, man, definitely. Thank you. And for the rest of you guys, please make sure that you like us, you subscribe, you share this, and you go out and comment on this video and on this recording. Please make sure you check us out on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and all different platforms. We'll see you guys until next time. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, Pierre.
Thank you.
Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like life is against you? Do you feel like you can't get ahead? Well, we have a podcast for you. You can overcome anything with CesarRespino, real estate investor and real estate coach, NLP practitioner, and author of the book of the same name. Cesar will show you a way to overcome anything in your life through talking with people from all walks of life that have done just that. You can overcome anything podcast available on Spreaker.com.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you tuned in to this podcast. You can find me at Spreaker.com, where you can like and subscribe. And to learn more about myself and my services, you can find me at www.CesarRespino.com, or you can also find me at Facebook under CesarRespino. Once again, thanks for joining me. I am looking forward to having you at the next episode, and know that you truly can overcome anything.